So, what if someone told you that ancient legends, modern UFOs, and the nuclear tensions of the 1990s were all connected? Well, today we're cracking open a really wild prophecy from back in 1994 that tries to do just that. It weaves together a single story that stretches all the way from Atlantis to a mind-bending vision of humanity's future. Let's dive right in.
Now, you'd think he'd start with the big, flashy prophecies, right? But no, he actually takes us way back, 7,000 years to be exact, to an ancient kingdom in the Andes Mountains. And this story isn't just some random piece of history. He sets it up as the absolute key to understanding everything that's about to come.
So he paints this picture of a society built by the survivors of Atlantis. But they'd kind of lost their way. They'd become decadent, and their own incredible advanced past had just faded away into myth. The only thing they had left were these vague stories about their ancestors flying through the sky in airships, a faint memory of a technology they just couldn't wrap their heads around anymore. And then, one night, it seems like those myths are coming true. Strange lights appear, moving in perfect formation across the sky. Now, for a society that had forgotten science, there was only one possible answer. The gods were back. They were looking at advanced technology, but all they could see was divinity. But there was one person who wasn't buying it. Their king, a guy named Earl, who was a man of science. He didn't see gods, he saw machines. And to prove his point, he does something absolutely brilliant. He builds a simple, hot air balloon. He shows his people that flying isn't some divine miracle. It's just science that they had forgotten. And here's where he brings it all home. The speaker says that this ancient story isn't just some fable. Nope, it's a direct warning for us, right here and now. Because, according to him, we're seeing visitors from the sky again. But this time, it's a whole lot more complicated. He claims that Earth has basically become this cosmic crossroads with more than 10 different alien species paying us a visit. You've got the ones everyone knows, the Greys, but he also mentions others, like beings from the Pleiades, and even visitors from the Magellanic Clouds. It's a whole galactic zoo out there, apparently. And he even gives us a quick field guide to the main players. First, you have the Greys, who he describes as these little, curious but kind of timid scientists. Then you've got the reptilians, who he claims are straight-up predators and carnivorous. And maybe the most chilling part? He mentions the Pleiadians, who he says could walk among us and we never even know. So you have this cosmic backdrop, right? Aliens observing us, maybe even preying on us. But the speaker's big point is that their presence is tied directly to what we're doing down here on Earth. And that brings the whole conversation crashing down from the stars to the very real, very tense politics of the mid-1990s. He then makes this incredibly specific claim. He doesn't just suggest it, he declares it as fact. North Korea, in 1994, already has 6 to 8 nuclear warheads. Now, you have to remember, this was not common knowledge back then. To hear that would have been absolutely terrifying. And he doesn't stop there. He predicts their arsenal's gonna more than double in just 1 year. But the real bombshell is his claim about the US. He says they've already decided on a secret policy. If North Korea ever uses one of those nukes, the American response will be total nuclear annihilation. The world, he's saying, is on a razor's edge. But wait, there's more. He argues that this whole North Korean crisis is just a smokescreen. It's just the opening move in a massive, decade-long game of geopolitical chess being played by the US. The real target, according to him, the total containment and eventual dismantling of the People's Republic of China. So we've got a planet hurtling towards a potential nuclear war, all part of this secret American grand strategy. But then he hits us with this massive question. What if all of it, the nukes, the secret plans, the looming war, what if it's all just a big distraction from the real danger? Okay, this is it. This is the moment where all the different threads finally come together. The ancient parable, the alien visitors, the threat of nuclear war, it's all been building to this, to the core prophecy of his entire message. He delivers this prophecy with just absolute conviction. He says a massive fleet of UFOs will appear over our cities, and it will be completely undeniable. We're not talking about some grainy photo or a shaky video here. This is going to be front-page news, a global event that will completely shatter our reality. But this isn't some simple rescue mission. He explains that there are cosmic rules, like a prime directive. Advanced civilizations can't interfere, with one huge exception. If a species is about to wipe itself out, the doors for intervention swing wide open.
But, and this is a terrifying catch, they swing open for everyone. The good guys can come in, but so can the bad guys. And humanity's final test will be figuring out which is which. So, how in the world is humanity supposed to pass a test like that? Well, according to the speaker, the answer isn't in better weapons or smarter politics. It's in completely revolutionizing our understanding of science itself. He introduces this concept called Reinokagu, which translates to spiritual science. He frames it as this huge missing piece of our knowledge, a type of physics that goes beyond atoms and galaxies and gets into the actual fabric of higher dimensions and the spirit world. And here's the fundamental difference. He argues that our current physics, Einstein's physics, traps us. We're limited by the speed of light, which basically keeps us stuck in our own little cosmic backyard. But spiritual science, he says, works on a whole different level, the speed of spirit. If we could learn to navigate the fourth dimension, what he calls the spirit world, we could travel across galaxies in the blink of an eye. So all of this brings us to the grand finale, the ultimate point of his entire speech. Why tell the ancient story? Why warn us about aliens and nuclear war? It was all to set the stage for one final, all-encompassing message, and a truly stunning personal reveal. The solution he proposes is a total transformation of our world. He says humanity has to give up materialism and atheism and unite under a single spiritual truth, which he calls Buddha's law truth. He claims that only by doing this can we finally end war and create a genuine utopia right here on Earth. And then comes the final, absolutely jaw-dropping twist. The speaker reveals that he, himself, is the reincarnation of that wise Andean king from the story he told at the beginning. He claims he was once Rient Earl Crowd, and that he has now returned as a divine being named El Cantere, specifically to deliver this message. You know, listening to this whole thing really is like opening a time capsule from 1994. You've got the fear of nuclear war, the mystery of UFOs, the search for a new world order after the Cold War. It's all in there, wrapped up in this epic cosmic drama. It really makes you wonder, in our own chaotic and uncertain times, what are the grand stories we're telling ourselves right now to try and make sense of it all?